Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is episode 13 of our custom pizza truck build. In last week's episode, we finally got our 2,600 pound pizza oven into the back of the truck, but we hadn't yet bolted it down. So let's jump right into that. All right guys, the oven is fully bolted down. I was very lucky that the location for the bolts on those legs ended up being right here on the back portion. You see, this is entirely steel, unlike right here where it's just wood with the undercoating on it. And the same thing up here where the bolts ended up on the front, just so happened to be where the metal is on the large openings where the forks would go in to move the shipping containers. So that is extraordinarily strong. What I'm working on at the moment is our hand railing here. You see, I've already got some 2-inch angle iron just sitting here. I'm going to be doing 2-inch square tubing like so, and then I will do 4 cables across, and then I will do one bit of triangulation here just to make it a little bit stronger. And the purpose of this hand railing is just to make sure that whoever is working at the prep table or the oven doesn't take too many steps back and, as my mom would say, go ass over tea kettle. So we've only got a couple of days before I have to hit the road with this thing, so I'm going to knock this out as fast as I can. I've already got some of the other parts cut up right here, so let's just get to it. Alright guys, well the cables came out fantastic. All I had to do was run the cables through the holes that I drilled, use a swagging tool on the stainless steel fittings to do 3 little clamps, and then I ran it all the way to the end, marked it, cut it, did the same thing here. They are a little bit on the loose side, and that is on purpose. After I paint it, when I do the final installation, I will put Loctite on the end of one side, and then on the other side, I will actually tighten them down with the supplied nuts that they come with, and then do the acorn on top of that. That way, it is still adjustable in the future if the cables do decide to come loose. But the next step is going to be painting this, so let's get all these cables off, get it outside so I can get it primered and painted. Alright guys, well the cable railing is all done and it looks absolutely fantastic. All the edges are just nice and clean here. The next step is going to be making the custom shelves for our service windows. So let's get to it. Alright guys, we'll check it out. I've added a couple shelves to our truck here. These are super heavy duty. I used some 3/16 inch steel that I had left over from the pizza table, and then I mounted it directly to the pizza table and then to the outside wall with some 1/2 inch bolts. Same thing over here for our little service area. We've got 2 tables also mounted with 1/2 inch bolts directly to the pizza table. Now the purpose for this is so that whoever is making pizzas will just have some extra space, so that as they're coming out of the oven, they've got plenty of room for boxes and then to cut the pizzas. And then if they're super busy, they can transfer them over here, where whoever is working down here can then take them to that next level to then slice them and get them out the door. Let me show you how I made them. Alright guys, well the hole for the vent is complete. The next step for that is going to be installing the actual vent tube up through the top and then hooking up a power fan, but that will take place in Chicago. Those items were drop shipped directly there, so I'll install those once the truck is delivered. In the meantime, I wanted to show you a few other modifications that I made, mainly our back wall here. You see I now have 2 more panels. I showed the owner a picture of the truck once I had these back panels in, and they loved it, but they were wondering if I could get 2 more made for this back wall because it was all white. And I reached out to Inked Wraps, and they did a phenomenal job getting those things done in one day to make this project come together, so that was very cool. The next thing that I did was a J channel on the top here. You see, I wanted to protect our piano hinges from moisture because they're fantastic hinges, but their one weak point is that if enough moisture gets into them, they will surface rust, and then you get these little rust drips, and I wanted to avoid that. So the J channel is mounted directly to that 2-inch square tubing, and that will hopefully keep moisture away from those hinges, and I think it gives it a really nice clean look. So the next thing I'm going to be working on, which is really the last thing before I hit the road with this truck, is going to be a secondary wood holder. You know, we've got our wood holder right there, but it's not super practical to pull the wood from there to go into the oven. We need a secondary spot to hold at least a few pieces for when this truck is in operation, and it will be going on that back wall. And the way I'm going to make that is this. That same round tubing that I've been using on a few other projects. So I'll use this along with some square tubing and whip something up real quick. So let's get to it. All right, guys, well, the shop is empty. You know what that means. The truck is outside, completely done. I'm ready to hit the road first thing in the morning to Chicago. Let's go take a look at it. Guys, I gotta say, this truck came out absolutely fantastic. If you've been following along from the beginning on this truck, you'd remember I picked this thing up in Alabama back when it had a box on the back. It was an old Penske truck. Actually, the box is over there still at my neighbor's property. It hadn't ran in 9 months. I got it running. I then drove it to Nashville, where I found out that it had a bad head gasket. We did a head gasket repair with a Blue Devil treatment just to chemically fix it long enough to load up everything I owned in the shop into the back, drive up here to Spokane, strip down the box, and then put the shipping container on it, and then build this. Gosh, it's just absolutely gorgeous. Let me get it all opened up for you. Not too bad if I do say so myself. Now, this is probably how it will look most of the time when it's out in service with the vent windows open and then the service windows up. I gotta say, I am just so happy with how everything turned out. I really like how all of the colors work together. I think that cable railing made a huge difference. I think these shelves actually turned out looking really sharp. And then I love the dual wood holders. Once we get some cords of wood in there, it is going to look absolutely gorgeous. Let's hop inside. All right, so going up the stairs, we've got our display fridge, we've got our sink, we have the prep station, we then have our custom shelf over here, along with one of the wood holders, our wood-fired pizza oven, we've got the fridge underneath, we've got our secondary wood holder right there, and then of course the 2 shelves to help out whoever is working down here. And then from here, the point of view looks like so, not too shabby. You can imagine millions of happy customers out here eating their little pizzas. And then we do have, of course, our little charging station here, so you can charge up your cell phone while you're supposed to be working. Not too shabby. So the next step is to hit the road, and that's exactly what I will do at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Hopefully it will be extremely uneventful. I will have one more episode that follows me driving to Chicago and then firing up the wood-fired oven for the first time and making a couple pizzas. Probably artichoke, roasted garlic, bacon, and basil. So thanks for making it this far. Hopefully you check out that next episode where it's actually out into service, and then I will have one start to finish that shows absolutely everything in one episode to make it a little easier for the people who haven't been following along. So thank you again. I'll see you guys when I see you. Take care.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.